SexyHackers.com.
Sexy Hackers presents the only podcast where anything can happen, so long as somebody wrote it in a book and made you choose which thing was gonna happen. Warning! Do not read this book straight through from beginning to end. These pages contain many different adventures that may have when you join your uncle, a famous archaeologist, in his search for an ancient civilization. From time to time, as you read along, you will be able to make choices. Your choice may lead to success or disaster. The adventures you have will be the results of those choices. After you make your choice, follow the instructions to see what happens to you next. Beware, your expedition to the outback could prove deadly.
SexyHackers.com.
Life is like a story with many paths to choose. I gotta get some good friends to help me make it through. So here's the plan, just take my hand, the adventure's just begun. And all we have to do is turn to page fun.
A theme song. Hello and welcome to Turn to Page Fun. I am your host, Nick Fear, and we are the only podcast where I, your host, Nick Fear, read through a bunch of Choose Your Own Adventure books that I found in my partner's parents' attic that used to belong to her with some of my funny friends. An idea so good that I immediately stole it from my partner and froze her out of the production process. Right now, we are still reading Terror in Australia, the old Terror in Australia, written by Shannon Gilligan. I just realized that her last name is Gilligan.
It's Gilligan?
It's Gilligan.
Oh,
I don't know what I've been saying this whole...
I think you've been saying Gillian.
I probably have been saying Gilligan. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's actually Shannon Gilligan.
Yep. So
That's
sit
a
right
fake
back.
name.
And you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip.
Indeed it is.
Oh, man. With me on this fateful trip through this book, I have my friend and talented musician, Mr. Brian Bayer.
How you doing, little buddy?
I'm doing really good, but
Yeah.
that monkey keeps on making fun of me.
Oh, if I can get that coconut radio working, we're going to be fine.
Won't be just-
I don't know why we're on this riff. This is about Australia, not islands.
Well, maybe they were blown so far off course that Gilligan's Island is off the coast of Australia.
Could be. It could be.
It could be.
Yeah, this has been a really crazy adventure, and I'm really excited to see where we go this episode.
Anything can happen.
Anything really can.
All right. On my right, I have a good friend and comedy producer, Ms. Laura Halterman. Hello.
Hi, Nick. Hi, everybody out there.
Hi, Laura. How you doing today?
I'm good because I took my own advice and went home early last night.
Oh, yeah. I bet that was a really good decision. Because you're really good at making really good decisions.
I bet not everyone at this table made that decision.
No, a lot of people didn't make that decision. In fact, somebody
Shade.
is actually very tired right now and slamming through energy drinks mixed with vodka.
Place your bets on which one that is.
All right, we don't know because it's all mugs up here on this table, and it's like 3-card Monty, except one of the mugs is filled with fun. It's me. I just recovered from a hangover, and we are reading this crazy book, and I love it. And then all the way over on my far right, a very good friend and author, musician, actor, nodder.
Yes.
Very good at nodding.
Very good. You can't hear it.
Multiple waiver. My good friend Jacob Wolfel.
I forgot about that. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry,
you for
what is
remembering about
this?
the
What is
multiple
this?
waves.
Oh, Jake
went
likes
there.
to wave more than once at people.
Yeah, I
Oh,
do.
like,
I like to wave once, so then they get the idea of like, oh, they recognize that I exist.
Okay.
Then I do it again. That's it. And then, how
So
they
it's a
feel about it, that's up to you,
two-wave.
Brian.
See, I
That's
just
up to
do.
you.
I usually just do a head nod, and you know the rule for head nod.
You have to nod back.
Well, it's that, and it's if you know the person, it's head up. If it's just a stranger, you just brief eye contact, nod.
No, I've been doing it wrong the whole time.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah, no, I just wave every time twice.
Oh yeah, well
Yeah.
that. Just wave every time. He gave the signal. Go with a plan. Kidnap that kid.
Yeah, how many secret missions have you started?
So many secret missions. I know, it's crazy.
Unbeknownst to you.
So many secret missions.
Should we do a gamble of how many more kidnappers are going to come out of the woodwork here?
I think every adult is going to be a
It's
kidnapper.
really-
All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess 6 more kidnappers.
Six
Six
more
more
kidnappers.
kidnappers?
Six more
Sorry.
kidnappers.
All right.
Yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us, welcome. In this book, Terror to Australia, the story so far is your parents are on vacation, of course, because they can't stand you. So they went to America for 3 weeks. Then your uncle, who is more like a friend, calls you from Alice Springs, Australia, to help him do an archaeology. And so we've taken the train over to meet him. And then we were picked up by associates of your uncle that claimed to be Australian intelligence.
Right.
And they are led by an anthropomorphic talking cat named Major Winks.
We have decided this.
We have
No, that's
decided-
how it's written. That's how it's
It's
written.
not explicitly spelled out, but it's pretty clear.
It's pretty
pretty
clear in
obvious,
context clues.
Because, I mean, his name is Major Winks. That's not a human name.
No human would be named Major Winks.
Yes. I mean, look at right here on the Sexy Hackers
Oh,
logo
yeah,
is a
all right.
cat.
I think the cat's name should be Major Winks.
Major Winks.
So led by Major Winks, and then they tell you this elaborate story about these terrorists that are trying to steal uranium from around where this ancient civilization that you and your uncle are going to archaeologize. And then they're saying, okay, well, we'll have a decoy group go out into the desert and draw these terrorists away. And they give you a choice to go with your uncle to just do the thing that you showed up for, or to go with them and try to stop the terrorists. But then you find out that they're the terrorists, which doesn't make any sense, because why would they even give you the option to come with you? And so now they're like, oh, we got to get rid of this kid. So now we are deciding what we want to do, if we want to escape them in the camp by jeep, or if we want to stay and sabotage their efforts of digging up this uranium.
Now, I know we've there still might be a chance to get out of this, but I would like to spend my told you so point because I thought we should go with our real uncle.
Well, okay, hey, so what?
Just
You were right. Big deal.
told you
You
so.
want to fight about it, Brian?
Told you
huh?
so.
I'm going to bully you all the way from over here.
All right.
If
yeah.
I was sitting next to you, though, it would
Wave.
be- yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, angry wave.
Okay, all
Angry
right,
wave.
so told
All
you
right.
so aside, now we are in this predicament.
Yes, that's true.
So told you so aren't causing us any solutions.
I'm just saying. I think we should have an official segment beginning.
Called told you
Called
so?
Told You
Called
So.
Yeah.
Told
Just
you so.
whoever dissented can just look and just
It
told you
seemed
so.
strategic at the time. It
You
seemed
get
strategic.
one.
Okay,
All
yeah, you're right.
Each get a
Fine.
told you so.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel better about myself now.
All right.
Okay.
Wonderful.
That hurts.
Um,
Hurts me real bad. I feel worse. So
All right, so now our choice is to try to sabotage these terrorists
Yes.
or escape to the Jeep.
yes.
Now, escaping still makes me nervous because do you know how to drive
Yeah,
a Jeep
after the
in this?
whole-
We're like 12?
we're
You are your
12.
age, so that's anywhere between
In the- yeah,
10
like-
and 40.
Yeah.
Because we saw the first picture of you when your friend Waldo throws a paper at you and talks about your uncle.
I missed
What are we
those
looking
days.
And you look hung over AF.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably capable of driving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
well-
it's just a Jeep.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
not hard.
in the desert.
I mean, it could be a stick shift.
Or the
I don't know.
Outback.
A stick shift Jeep.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
That can't be hard. Yeah, all Jeeps are 6 years.
All
Are
right.
they? Oh, I wouldn't know. I've never driven a Jeep.
And this is everyone's asleep, right?
Everyone's
They already
asleep right
prayed
now.
to Allah.
They've already prayed to Allah for their nighttime prayers because that's how it works.
Yeah.
And they don't have any guards. I don't know. I think we should stick with it and try to
All right.
at least try to sabotage him.
Ooh.
But that's just me.
I think it's time to become Jack Bauer.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. This is the threshold we're gonna cross. Like,
So
this is
what
it.
does that mean to you? Does that mean that you're going to want to stick with them?
Oh yeah, we gotta stop these terrorists.
Gotta top these sons of bitches.
I mean, I'm saying that no matter what, we're not going to make a good decision because earlier we made the decision to skip dinner, and now we're thinking about this on an empty stomach.
That's where all the
Yeah,
fun
let's lay here
started.
all hangry and decide if we want to just stick around and wait for what, breakfast? Or drive off and maybe find that nice continental breakfast at the Barker Hotel.
Yeah.
With a body double.
All right, no, but I'm all in for sabotage.
Yes. All in for sabotage. Are you sure you don't want to just say that you want to escape by Jeep and then rack yourself up and I told you so point?
Oh, yeah. You can get one now. It's your shot.
We're all just shooting to make everyone else feel bad.
No, I'm accumulating mine for the next book. Those roll over, right?
Yeah, they will
You
roll
get-
over.
you get
It's
roll
like
over
any
tomatos.
benefit for any job, yeah.
All right. Well, we're finally going to dive into this book and see what happens when we decide to stay with these terrorists and try to sabotage what they're digging up with the uranium. And we'll get to that right after this quick word from our sponsors.
SexyHackers.com.
Our program today is brought to you by Meals. That's right, Meals. Go ahead and eat them whenever they're offered to you because you never know when they'll pop up next.
SexyHackers.com.
And we're back to Turn to Page Fun. So we decided that we were going to stick with these terrorists that were pretending to be the Australian intelligence agency run by a talking cat named Major Winks that are in the Australian outback digging up uranium to make an atomic bomb.
Right.
We're going to stick with them to see if we can't sabotage their efforts.
Right. Because it may cost us our life, but it's worth it for Australia.
For Australia.
For Australia.
There's bound to be some chance over the next few days to stop these people, you think, or at least to get a message out to the Australian government. For the first time, you wonder about Gilroy and Beninui, but it's useless to waste energy worrying about people you can do nothing to help. You have enough troubles of your own. The next morning, everyone acts normally. You fooled them this far, at least. They probably don't even know you woke up yesterday. It takes all of your willpower to appear nonchalant as Major Winks gives you another briefing on the Brotherhood of Allah.
Just
Giving you more information about their own organization.
At least you managed to learn the location of the shortwave radio. And by the way, two of Wink's men are guarding one of the jeeps. You strongly suspect that it contains explosives and weapons.
are those also kittens?
The whole crew is just cats.
I'm just picturing actually Katie's two little kittens like
Little
So-
kittens just sitting on the roof of the jeep.
Clearly would have sounded the alarm had we tried to go for the Jeep.
Yeah, that would have been a bad decision. We made the right one.
He's just laying on a submachine gun on the roof of a jeep.
Pawing away.
sorry, distracted.
That day, you fold camp quickly and take off. Progress is slower as the track disappears and you travel over open terrain. Anna has to consult her topographical map frequently. Finally, Major Wink signals for everyone to halt.
He starts meowing loudly and irritatingly, like, "What's wrong, Major Winks?" But
His back arches.
According to my calculations, this is it, he says, indicating the area ahead with a sweep of his paw. Hey, look, someone yells from another jeep. That opening looks like the entrance to an old mine. Or a cave.
Oh,
It's the same thing, I guess.
All right. Everyone scrambles out of the jeeps to look. All 7 hover around a rock-strewn opening in the earth. They're talking and pointing excitedly. Now's your chance. You sprint to the jeep that was so carefully guarded. Sure enough, underneath the tarp, you find a crate full of machine guns. Grabbing one, you sneak up slowly on the
Light
ground
him
of the
up.
cave.
Light him
totally
up.
Jack Bauer. It's a Jack Bauer move. Get ready, guys.
Stay right where you are, you yell fiercely. Everyone raise your hands.
Oh boy. Well, this was not quite the.
What's going on? Have you gone mad? Major Winks cries, turning around. Put down the gun. I'm afraid the heat has gotten to you. He walks towards you, aiming at a spot just in front of your feet. Just in front of his feet, you fire. Winks gets your point quickly. You're wrong, mister. The heat has gotten to you, you reply.
Whoa, good
Nice comeback.
He's working on it. He's learning.
It got to you a long time ago when you thought you could further your political interests by killing innocent people. I want to announce to everyone in this so-called brotherhood that your terrorist days are over. You are under Australian citizens' arrest.
Whoa. Yes. Oh, my goodness.
Waltzing Matilda plays in the
This is
background.
going to work out. I'm sure this is going to work out just fine and nothing terrible is going to happen.
Major Winks lets out a huge belly laugh.
He's like, you can't touch it, but you could look at it swell with laughter.
His tail twitches and he purrs.
as he knees the ground. How do you propose to get all 7 of us back to civilization? You only have one carrying case, and we're getting finicky.
No,
This is some pro dialogue.
With more help, says a familiar voice from behind you.
Oh, my goodness.
Is that familiar voice?
We don't know many
Waldo?
people. Oh, Waldo.
It's Uncle Gilroy
Oh,
yay!
and Beninui.
Yay! Oh, we haven't met.
Yeah,
We
Okay.
have not met Beninui.
Oh, okay.
They must have figured out what Anna and the others were up to at about the same time you did. Thank heavens for your smart uncle and for the 30 armed troops from Australian Special Forces that are backing him up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna help.
Hands up and march forward one at a time, barks the commanding officer, who happens to be a dog.
See? Told you guys.
A kettle dog.
What's his name going to be?
Sheepishly, the 7 terrorists comply. The next hour is a blur of military interviews as you tell your story again and again. Helicopters arrive to transfer the prisoners to a military confinement center where they'll wait trial.
Yay.
Oh, man.
One of them gets stored in a tiny little box, though.
I'm just sad we didn't get to shoot anybody in the kneecap.
Where's my uncle? You ask finally, not seeing him around. You scan the horizon. You hear a whoop of triumph. Gilroy emerges excitedly from the opening that was spotted earlier. This ain't any mine. It's an entrance to the lost city of Saterian, the discovery of the century, he yells.
Hey.
The end.
Wow.
Yay.
That was satisfying.
That is pretty sad. You know what?
Satisfying ending.
We
Yeah.
did Jack
did it.
Bauer that shit up.
You Jack Bauer.
Jack Bauer.
You Jack Bauer did. Yep.
I was pretty worried though, guys.
Yeah?
We set it up at the end there where we were about to machine gun a cat, and
Oh,
that's
well.
yeah.
Well, it would have been a terrorist cat.
He was
so-
a terrorist cat.
Yeah, he wasn't a good boy.
He was.
He was a really bad boy, okay?
Well, we had a machine gun. Maybe it also had a Mister attachment. We could have just like sprayed him first.
yeah, it sprayed him. Yeah, we can alternative.
This shoots semi-auto, full auto, and hey, you mister.
Oh, man.
Oh,
That's good.
wow.
So to clarify, though, we didn't find any uranium.
No.
We just
no.
found an
No.
ancient civilization.
yeah, we found. I like how we just
Which
kind
was
of.
immediately bulldozed
Right.
to dig up the uranium.
Right.
Yep. I like how the ancient city, it was just like, it exists, and that was the end. Like, we
Well, yeah.
we
Yeah.
know it's there, but we'll never get
Yeah.
to see it, never get to know anything
like,
about it.
how much more did you want to find
Right,
out about the
it's-
ancient civilization? You already stopped a
Yeah,
cabal
I suppose.
of international terrorists
I was worried
run by
though
a talking cat.
when it was like the military has you, and then like, oh, you're not going anywhere. We're actually the Aboriginal forces who.
Yeah, they were
seized the
actually going to kidnap us. So I got 0 kidnappers additional.
You had 0 kidnappers.
Unless you
Zero.
consider the military taking you for interviews kidnapping.
little.
Well, if you are a libertarian, you do.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not, though.
But you're on the you are on the far right right now.
I'm
us.
literally on the far
Yeah,
right
so I
right
guess
now.
you're a kook right
So-
now. So
Yeah.
you have to
All
take
right.
that position.
But at least I'm wearing a shirt, and I don't have an InfoWars bumper in the back of my motorcycle.
Oh, that guy. Oh. All right, so
All right,
let's
Well-
pull back the curtain a little bit on our drive over. We were driving behind a motorcycle.
Oh, boy.
And he was like on this BMW motorcycle, and he was wearing no shirt.
Nope.
And
Good
the
start.
motorcycle was just like packed with carrier cases
No
all
helmet, too.
around,
All around.
No helmet.
as many as he could fit, as many saddlebags, I guess, hard case saddlebags, as many as he could fit on his motorcycle. And then to top it all off, because we immediately thought he was an awful person, but then to top it all off, he had an InfoWars bumper sticker.
Yeah, it was
he did.
the whole back side. It was written from left to right. Yeah.
Exciting.
So we're like, oh, that guy knows
That
that wearing helmets and clothing on a motorcycle is just a conspiracy.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pulled into the gas station ahead of us. Walked in, shirtless there. No shirt, no shoes.
Yeah.
No
Not my
problem.
No problem.
All right. Well, now that we made fun of a total stranger,
He's listening to this and he's just getting more and more pissed off.
listen again.
I was just getting into this podcast. Oh, boy.
Oh man, I was just gonna figure out what was going on with those talking cat terrorists.
I don't know, guys. I mean, we have to drive through Oak Creek to get here. There's a good chance we could have this segment featured every single time.
It's true.
I'm curious about the Germans.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, in
way
the
back
book?
with the...
Yeah, what happened with the Germans?
Just in
Germans?
general.
No, just in general.
I mean,
just-
that's how it could have ended, but we could go all the way back and see what's going on.
We could catch a plane instead of a train.
or catch a plane.
That's way
Yeah.
back.
Oh,
That's
we look
like
at the papers.
choice number one.
The
Oh, yeah,
Germans'
look at his papers.
Yeah, wonder what's on it.
yeah.
And
Watch,
maybe
it's
he'll-
like that's the whole plan. Like that's the whole book that we just got through so far.
Right,
Written
it's-
out just real quick. Like, okay, yeah, we know about these terrorists who are going to pretend to be in the military, and we're going to try to, like, it's just going to
Yeah.
be this whole multi-layer thing.
So there's this other group who we never learned anything about
Yeah,
this
we've
time.
no idea
the
who
first
they
time
are.
we went through, they murdered you.
First,
Right.
yeah,
They just straight up murdered you
The-
because they wanted camels.
Right.
right now, for a second, I was thinking, like, are they referring to the cigarettes or are they referring to literal camels?
No, I'm pretty sure.
I'm
It's
pretty sure literal camels.
literal.
I'm assuming so, but
But that's
They
a
didn't
great
specify.
question. In 1988, that could have been just strategic
Oh.
product placement.
that was my thought.
Could've.
Yeah, camel influenced this book.
Yeah, you still want kids to smoke.
All right.
All
Well, why don't we check out what's going on with the strange German man from
way back on the train.
from the
Papers.
first time we went through this book on the train with what's going on with his papers, and we're gonna take a look through that after a quick word from our sponsors.
sexyhackers.com.
Today's episode of Turn the Page Fun brought to you by Australian Special Forces. Do you like taking orders? Are you a dog that likes taking orders? Do you like taking orders from dogs? Are you worried about the infringing attacks of cat terrorists? Then make a difference and join the Australian Special Forces. We'll teach you things like how to jump out of nowhere as Deus Ex Machinas in groups of 30 at a time to take over Libyan terrorists, how to interrogate terrorists, and how to find lost civilizations. It's all in a day's work for Australian Special Forces.
You better run. You better take cover. Good boy.
sexyhackers.com.
And we're back to Turn the Page Fun. So we wanted to we had a very satisfying ending of this
Yeah.
book.
We did.
We stopped some terrorists,
Yeah.
which is great. But we want to figure out in the first episode of this book
Episode
that we
4?
did, a couple episodes ago.
Or 3.
It was a long time.
We,
Yeah, it was 3.
I think, yeah.
No, 4? I
4
don't
weeks
know.
ago. I don't
we
know. So long.
we came across a strange man in the
Yes.
train that was taking us over to Australia.
On a train.
And we were given a choice whether to just leave him alone with his briefcase or to snoop around his
Right.
his private papers.
Because he was sleeping in his cabin,
Yes.
which was open, I guess.
With the cabin door
And-
open, yeah.
Yeah. And so we decided to be reasonable human beings.
Right.
And leave him alone.
Which turned out to be bad.
God.
Yeah,
us
because he
killed.
ended up killing us.
So now we're going to mess with his shit.
Now we're-
That should make him happy.
Yeah, so we're gonna live, die, repeat, and go back and go back and decide to look at the man's papers under the pretext of picking them up for him.
Oh, right. Good.
Yes.
He'll appreciate that.
All right.
So we should probably walk up whistling. That's how you.
So you're on a train.
Stealth maneuver.
You check the hallway one last time. Then, slowly, silently, you bend down, trying not to wake the sleeping figure. You pick up the papers farthest from his feet and begin scanning them. They appear to be some sort of technical readouts, almost like a seismogram. In the upper left corner of each paper is stamped, Classified and Restricted, U.S. Department of Defense. The U.S. Department of Defense? But this guy isn't American. He's got a German accent.
There's
Unrecognizably
no
so.
immigrants here.
What's he doing with classified information from the U.S. Defense Department? At that moment, the man groans in his sleep and shifts position. The heel of his shoe slams down onto your hand. It's all you can do not to yelp in pain. Moving very carefully, you lift his heel and pull your hand back. For the second time that night, you get the surprise of your life. On the paper that was underneath the man's heel is your uncle's name.
Okay, this
Wait.
has nothing to do with anything that we had happen
Yeah,
afterwards.
but what? Okay.
You begin reading furiously, but you're so nervous that you can hardly make out the words. Something about uranium, a mention of Satyrian, and a mention of Infiltrator 4, whatever that is. It's impossible to tell what part your uncle plays in all this. Could the papers have anything to do with the trouble he's in? You wonder if you'd be able to understand these documents better with more time to study them. The odd little man is still asleep. You dart a glance at him to check, and it would be easy to leave the compartment with its precious papers. But what would happen if you discovered that they were missing? If you decide to grab the papers, turn to page 80. If you decide to leave the papers for now and follow the man when you get off in Alice Springs, turn to page 69.
Yeah, I think the papers. I think just take him
Yeah,
out.
I mean,
He's not going to know.
So far, the Jack Bauer route has always been the better route. And
Right.
I think that's more what he would do. There's less violence
Read the
involved.
paper. Right, yeah,
but-
because if you follow this guy, you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah, that's true.
It could be...
But we had a whole train ride to read our beginning archaeology book, and we didn't do
we
it.
were just so excited and nervous.
Yeah, but that's not about
and
uranium.
now what are we?
Or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Really, are we going to read stuff if we
Are we
have
gonna-
more time?
Are we going to understand more? Or you can
good
use
point.
them as proof. Ooh.
Yeah. There's a lot of opportunities here.
I mean, I do want to stay and read the papers. I just wanted to point that
All
out.
right, that's it.
It is true. I couldn't even read a sentence.
I
Like,
feel
for
like...
that.
And the safe choice sometimes has been actually the more dangerous choice
I say we steal those papers.
in our past. Yeah, I'm
gotta steal
I'm
them.
saying let's steal the
You can
papers.
steal the papers?
Steal those
Yeah,
papers.
Steal the papers. All right.
Maybe just disrupt his plan enough.
I mean, we're back here because we want to know about the Germans anyway.
Right.
Or I guess the Americans with German accents.
All right.
Or- yeah, who knows?
Brought to you by immigrants.
You scoop up as many papers as you can without touching the man's foot. Heart pounding, you dash through 3 cars to your apartment, where you lock the door behind you. Turning on a small flashlight, you start to read. It all makes more sense this time. A classified report describes the location of a rich bed of uranium ore in the Gibson Desert. Then it explains that there's a connection between this recent discovery and the earlier claims of a young archaeologist, Gilroy T. Adams, who believes that the lost city of Satyrian once existed in the same area. You're not sure what all this means, but the significance of a handwritten note in the margin is very clear. Adams may be a help. If not, he must be neutralized.
Help.
Neutralized? Neutralized? Isn't that another word for killed? You wonder. Your Uncle Gilroy is in trouble. Someone wants him dead. And that someone is on this train, leaving everything behind except your wallet and the stolen paper. What? Oh, okay. The stolen paper, leaving everything else behind. You take off in the direction away from the car where the man with the briefcase is sleeping. You don't know what you're going to do until you come to the freight car. That's it. You'll hide in there. You wedge yourself between a shipment of carpets and one of lawnmowers.
You know what would be really super comfortable to nap on? These lawnmowers.
I can't go anywhere without my lawnmower, guys. We're going to have to stow it away here in the back.
Yeah.
Just bring on my lawnmowers. I got 10.
Meanwhile in Alice Springs. Susan, your lawn's out of control.
The train's not here yet. I'm sorry.
Everybody's lawn's out of control.
Everyone's
We're waiting for the...
they're outside the hardware store or the whatever department store waiting for the lawnmowers to come in.
So why are we leaving behind our backpack?
Yeah, we're leaving everything behind
Oh,
except for a
shit.
wallet and the papers.
Yeah, so they know they're missing.
All right.
I don't know.
So you wedge yourself between a shipment of carpets and one of lawnmowers. It's pretty uncomfortable. And you only sleep fitfully for the rest of the night. At least no one bothers you. When the train stops in Alice Springs, the passengers get off on one side. You wait till they've left, then get off on the other side and sneak across the train yard. You're exhausted. You wish you could take a cab, but you decide it would be too risky. After a hot, dusty, and frightening walk through Alice Springs, you finally reach the lobby of Barker House Hotel. Excuse me, you say to the receptionist. Can you please give me the room number for Gilroy Adams? She eyes your dusty face and clothes with a bit of suspicion. But she checks her computer.
A raptor appears from behind.
That's her clicking in the computer.
Okay, so she's a raptor.
Yeah, she's a raptor.
She's a raptor.
She's clearly a raptor.
Yeah.
He's in room 98. But his key is here, which must mean he's out. Would you like to leave a message for him? No, I'll wait.
Well, at least she didn't kidnap us immediately.
Not yet.
Was like the lawn out of control when we came in? Like
It was just, yeah.
I'm sorry, I've had a bad attitude.
As you're scurrying across, like in the background, there's a guy just throwing lawnmowers, and everybody's like, "Hooray!"
Finally come.
so they all immediately start mowing their lawns in unison.
Oh.
Satisfying.
Try to talk over the din of lawnmowers in the background.
You wait nervously for 1 hour, then 2. There's no sign of your uncle. Where can he be? To pass the time, you pull out the news clipping from yesterday's paper and reread the article. Adams reports that the amulet was discovered by an Aboriginal friend. Mention of Gilroy's Aboriginal friend gives you an idea. Excuse me, you say again to the raptor receptionist. Isn't there an Aboriginal settlement in Alice? You have no idea when Gilroy will show up. You might as well see if you can learn a little about the Aborigines here. Yes, the woman replies. She gives you directions and shows you a map advertising the tourist attractions of Alice Springs. You leave a message for your uncle in case he shows up, and then take off. A half hour later, you are showing his picture to a group of Aborigines. Wow.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yikes.
jeez.
Yeah, so this man, I stole his soul with this.
Sure, we know your uncle. He's a good guy. He's been Inouye's friend, an eager young man tells you. Have you seen him recently, you ask? Oh, yeah, replies the much older man. This morning, just before he and Ben Inouye left. Left? Left for where, you cry?
We can't not show that picture. I'm not sure we can show that picture, but we
No,
can't.
I mean,
What?
it's 1988. They're
traditional,
these
probably.
these are actually
Well.
these are actually well represented. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't
a
know.
lot, I don't know the ins and outs of
Right, if they
the Australian First Nations.
Yeah.
I don't know even what to call them. First Peoples, I think.
I don't know, the people of zero body fat. That's
Oh, they are all
Apparently.
very, very, very healthy.
Nice.
But yeah, they're living in shacks and stuff, which is kind of.
yeah. Well.
Smash.
The old man points west in the direction of the desert. They went to track down more amulets, he announces. But that's impossible. You just know Gilroy wouldn't leave without you. Maybe he's in some kind of trouble. Was there anything suspicious about the way they left? You inquire.
Well,
No.
he did tiptoe out to the Pink Panther music.
There was a cat with them, so I'm not sure what that was about.
No, they were in a hurry. But that uncle of yours is always in a hurry. The man chuckles fondly. Then, turning serious, he adds, if you're worried, we can go after them. I know where they're headed. We can leave right now. You consider the man's offer. You feel that you've got to warn your uncle as soon as possible. But who can tell you how long a trip into the desert will take? How safe would it be? Does this man know what he's talking about? Maybe you should try getting help from the police. If you decide to accept the old man's offer to take you to your uncle, turn to page 100. If you decide that it's time to involve the police, turn to page 57. So what do we want to do? Do we want to...
Like the real police or the Rayleys?
Yeah, Lester heard about the police. Like our character's thought on them was that they wouldn't believe us, and this seems way less believable than someone was trying to pick a lock on my cabin.
Yeah. And I mean, just because he's an old person, I know one of the times before it was an old person who
Bashed us
betrayed
on the
us.
head.
But I feel a little more trustworthy with these people. They seem okay.
I mean, yeah, there was that. What was it? A friendly giggle or giggled? What was the word? It was a strange. No, it was like
Hearty.
It was a very specific emotion that it was oddly assigned to.
Well, you know what? They might just end up kidnapping us anyway. So
Yeah, that's probably
I
true.
say let's just go with them
Might as
and
well.
see where we get.
Okay.
They offered.
They did offer, and
did
the
offer.
police are probably also going to betray us or not believe us, or
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
and
just the railway cops anyway.
if
the
they
roughness.
wanted to kidnap us, they would just keep us at their settlement.
Right.
Why would they take us to the desert and then kidnap us and bring us back to their
Yeah.
settlement?
That's a good point.
Plus, I want to meet
Beninui?
Beninui. There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Okay, so
All
we're
right.
gonna stick with the Aborigines.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what happens when we stick with the Aborigines after this word from our sponsor.
SexyHackers.com.
Hello, I'm a talking dog. Each year, thousands of Outback citizens go without life-saving lawnmowers. Their grass gets long. They can't see the dingoes waiting for them. So, we here at the Outback Lawnmower Fund will provide life-giving lawnmowers for just pennies a day, given by you, the people of Australia. Donate today, and you'll even get a letter written from the thankful recipients of these lawnmowers. Won't you please donate today? Make sure the grass gets cut so their lives can go long.
SexyHackers.com.
And we're back with Turn the Page Fun. All right, so we left the train and we went out into the outback to the whatever the Australian version of the res is, and we met up with some very friendly native Australians, and then they gave us a choice to help us find our Uncle Gilroy that went off with his native Australian friend, Beninui. Yep. And so we decided to go with them.
All right.
You and the old man are quick to begin your journey into the desert. Along the way, the man tells you that his name is Mandarg. I'm the tribal elder of the Alice Springs settlement, he says. Other than that, he doesn't talk much, conserving his energy for the hot trek. The two of you make good progress. At dusk, you break for the day. Mandarg goes in search of some food while you start a fire. Later that evening, after a dinner of roasted lizard and several billies of tea, the two of you lie on your backs looking at the stars. In a few minutes, a small transport plane drones by. Here they go now, says Mandarg dreamily, pointing above. There go who, you ask. Beninui and Gilroy. They're in that plane. Mandarg replies. In that plane? But I thought you said they left on foot. How can they be in that plane? Besides, how can you tell, you cry. Oh, they did leave our settlement on foot. I don't know how they ended up in the plane, but they're there. My spirit eyes can see them. Mandarg seems as surprised about Gilroy as you do. Well, what else do you see? Are they okay? You ask.
Without having any other questions.
Yeah, they're all right for now. But my spirit will keep guard, Mandarg assures you.
Yeah? Did your spirit eyes see this before we trekked all the way out to the frickin' desert?
They can only see within regular vision. That's gotta be.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
Everyone
brace
the
yourselves.
following views are of Shannon
The following
Gilligan.
views are by Shannon Gilligan.
Oh, no.
Written in 1988.
Please at her as needed.
Oh, no.
You've heard that some Aborigines have extraordinary psychic powers. Mandarg may be right, but what's Gilroy up to? And why didn't he wait for you at the hotel? You lie in the dark thinking about all of this for a few minutes, but you fall sound asleep without coming to any conclusions. At dawn, an urgent hand on your shoulder shakes you awake. We've got to go, Mandarg says. Bad things have happened to your friends. They've been betrayed by some people they trusted. The only people who can help them now are the police. His face is twisted with sorrow and worry. You have no doubt that he's right. However, it is that he knows these things.
What?
Oh, you have no doubt that he's right. However, it is that he knows these things.
Oh, okay. That makes more
Okay,
sense.
good.
You head back to Alex Springs immediately. The cool morning air helps you move quickly, and you reach the town not much after 8. Even though it's early, police headquarters is in an uproar. What do you want? The receiving officer asks you impatiently, ignoring Mandarg entirely.
Oh, yep. That seems about right.
Oh, no.
And these better be good. We're awful busy today.
We gotta mow a lot of lawns.
So just based on the theme of this book, I'm gonna guess the police force is run by like bullfrogs or something. Yeah.
Some sort of.
We'll get
A
some animal
giant
adjectives at
cigar.
some point.
What do you want?
It is very important, Mandarg says, imperiously, looking down his nose at the seated policeman. We're looking for a missing man, and a tracker by the name from my tribe had been kidnapped by the Brotherhood of Allah. This is news to you. But it has an amazing effect on the police officers. Within seconds, the entire room is silent. Everyone is staring at Mandarg.
Are they making him like Obi-Wan Kenobi here?
I don't know.
Oh.
The Brotherhood of Allah. Can you lead us to their hideout? The commanding officer steps forward to ask your friend. No, but I can lead you to Gilroy and Beninoe, and they know where it is, Mandarg says. Let's go. The man in charge says brusquely. He introduces himself hastily. As you run to some helicopters behind the police station, he is Major Frank Symington.
What are with these names?
Is he a koala?
No, with a name of like Frank Symington,
Yeah.
he is most definitely an orangutan in a police hat.
Yep, he's got to be. I was thinking it too. Yep. It's exactly where, same place.
Slapping his hands above his head.
He is Major Frank Symington, head of Australian Special Forces, Northwest Territory. Glad to meet you, Frank, Mandarg replies, giving you a mischievous smile. You and Mandarg are hurried into separate helicopters, so you missed most of what Mandarg tells Major Symington. But an hour into the desert, you spot a speck on the horizon and see Mandarg pointing. As you approach, you make out the shapes of a small camp and 2 people. One of them is your Uncle Gilroy.
He's dead.
Oh.
We don't know that.
Could
We
be.
do.
Gilroy, you're alive, you yell.
Oh, good.
You leap from the helicopter without looking and land on your face in the sand. 100 feet down. Like it never says. Like,
Oh.
whoop. What happened to you? You say excitedly. But something is terribly wrong. Your uncle stares at you vacantly. His expression is so blank that for a minute you wonder if you made a mistake. Gilroy, he repeats. Who's Gilroy?
Oh.
Beninoe is in the same state.
Oh.
He doesn't even recognize Mandarg. Fortran, explains the medic who came along in your helicopter. He's standing next to a water drum, suspicious look in his face.
He's at one bed.
Their water must have been drugged. What's Fortran? You ask Major Symington. It's a drug that kills memory. All memory. It can last for several days. The Brotherhood of Allah uses it frequently. I'm afraid there's no chance of being led to that hideout now, he says, kicking the sand.
But it only lasts for a couple days. Like in a couple days, you get your memory.
Yeah, but that might be
Think
gone
the
in a couple
period
days.
of those,
Yeah.
anything that
Yeah.
happens in those days,
Yeah.
you don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
He
guess.
says, kicking the sand and throwing his tire swing. By the time your uncle and his friend recover their memories, those terrorists will be long gone. The end.
Oh, man.
That was a lot less satisfying, but
That
at least
was
we
a
didn't
downer.
die.
That was a lot less satisfying.
Right.
I mean, nothing bad really happened, though.
Yeah,
to
well-
anybody.
Well, the terrorists
Three
won.
weeks later, Sydney vanishes in a mushroom cloud.
See, but we don't know that.
Yeah, that's true.
We only
they
know
just-
that as people who've seen
Maybe
the
they
future.
just gathered that uranium, refined it to
I don't know
plutonium.
why that they, since they know the uranium's out there, why don't they just, I don't know, guard it?
Yeah, you would think.
They're soldiers.
I don't know why Mandark, with his psychic eyes, couldn't see this happening.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we sit with the rest of the koala army.
And also, we learned
punching
almost nothing about the
Galaxy.
German guy.
Oh, we still did
Nothing about
not.
the German
Yeah.
yeah, the more we want to know about the German
followed
guy,
him.
the less
So
we
if
know.
y'all want to learn about the German guy, I would strongly suggest that you go out and you find Terror in Australia by Shannon Gilligan. This book has 13 exciting endings. And we went through maybe 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
So there are
Yep.
10 more endings in this book
Yeah.
that we haven't even got to.
We didn't even get on that plane.
We didn't get on that plane.
Who knows what would
We
have
didn't,
happened.
we didn't
Yeah.
go along with the people to buy the camel.
yeah, we don't know
Right.
what the camels are for. We have no idea.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot more endings that we could definitely do
Yeah,
in
we
this book.
we don't know if
But-
the grandma's a man either.
No.
But it seemed like it.
Could be.
It could have been.
Who
yeah.
knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Heck was the
So,
name of that?
how do we feel about this book? What will we give this, Ryan?
Well, I was a little disappointed, I gotta say, by the lack of emus, kangaroos, wombats. We only heard about camels and cats, and
That's true.
just the indigenous wildlife. Is that like prejudice of me to think that there'd be some wildlife? I don't know.
Well,
maybe.
I mean, seeing as the author is from Vermont, I would imagine that she is an expert, more expert of Australia than you. So
Right, that's true.
probably a lot less Australian fauna and flora than you would imagine in Australia.
Yeah, yeah. But I think, you know what, with the addition of Major Winks, the talking cat, I had a good time. I had a real good time with this
Real
book.
good time
I'll
with
say
that.
that. Yeah, yeah. And, you know, there were some downer endings, but there were some good ones. I felt really satisfied by that middle. We really got there in that one. So it's a rollicking adventure, and I'll give it 10 didgeridoos out of 15.
10 didgeridoos out of 50. That is,
I think we said 15.
Oh, out of 15.
Out of 15,
Okay, I
yeah.
was like, that is a low rating.
Or as they call it, quasbollop. No, I don't know.
Crazy Australian ratings.
Yeah,
Up
well.
to 15 didgeridoos. Like, what would that be? They just mark 15?
Yep.
Like, just
That's-
15 lines?
Yep,
That's
that's
a
how it is.
didgeridoo. That's a didgeridoo. That's a didgeridoo. You're just counting them up. Oh, this is 14 didgeridoos.
Oh, it should have been didgeridecade.
All right. Laura, out of 15 didgeridoos, how many would you give this book?
There was a noticeable lack of boomerangs
Oh,
and
yeah.
Fosters.
Yeah.
So I guess we're younger.
Oh,
so.
it's deeply implied that everybody had a cold can of Foster's in their hand. During this entire book.
Why didn't we have that, guys?
I don't
Oh,
know.
for reading. Oh, that's
well,
for next time.
yeah.
Well, that's for
Yeah.
next time.
For the next Australian book.
Like, if this would they be like Australians reading an American book and like there were no bald eagles, there were no flags flying everywhere, there were no guns,
No
everywhere.
maple syrup.
Nothing happened at Mount Rushmore.
Right. We did not keep up with the Kardashians.
So I would say, honestly, 13 out of 15
13 out of 15
didgeridoos,
didgeridoos.
knocking off 2 points for an actual lack of didgeridoos in the book
yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair.
Yeah. All right. And then, yeah, and we were even hanging out with native Australians. And it's
true.
No
Yeah.
didgeridoos, no boomerangs, nothing.
None of the classic stuff.
Nobody wrestled a croc.
No Crocs at all.
Walkabout.
I think they mentioned a
They
walkabout.
mentioned
Yeah,
a
they
walkabout
did.
because
Bushwalking.
Benui
Oh, right.
was
right.
on a walkabout and he found that
And
amulet.
we
Yeah.
never went into
Yep.
the dream time either.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'd give it like a 8 or 9. You know, and that's
Only 9 out of 15
I
didgeridoos.
mean, there were a lot of mysteries that were they were so big and they didn't make any sense from our perspective.
Hey, what do you mean?
Welcome to our podcast.
The German. You really wanted to find out about.
I wanted to know about the
Germans
Germans,
and camels.
okay? Jeez, or the
You know
American
about the German guy and what he wants to do with the camels?
I want to know what he wants to do with the
Well, you're
camels.
probably going to have to...
I'm going to look at it.
Well, then, if you want to find out about the German guy and what's he going to do with the camels, I would like to direct you to the local library
I'm not gonna,
where you can
I'm just
check
saying,
out Terror in Australia.
There's a lot of unresolved stuff, but probably part of being a choose your adventure. But also, I don't know, pretty convoluted though, all in all.
Oh, you mean that plan that the Brotherhood of Allah had made absolutely no fucking goddamn sense?
Yeah.
Also, making all the safe decisions that are supposed to keep you out of danger resulted in kidnapping and death.
Yeah. No.
Well, but maybe that's to teach children to take risks in life.
I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
But now that I
With
mentioned
strangers.
7 seems high. Now that we're talking about it, like probably 4. You have to try to make it that convoluted. So let's go with 4. I'm revising my score.
Wow,
You're
really
panning
docking
this
it.
book.
Bones.
Yeah, no, that
Really
book is
docking
not
it.
a good book.
That's
So.
fair.
yeah.
You know what?
Alright.
After, in the future, when you've done a couple of these with us, I'm going to ask you to come back and re-review this.
Okay, this is actually
based
good.
on other ones.
Yeah.
Because I've heard other ones, but this one was, I don't know, maybe it's just...
I mean, based on other ones, I thoroughly enjoyed this book.
isn't it?
Yeah?
There are many, many mysteries in it.
Okay.
I like the twists and the turns and the fact that things don't make sense because it's almost Lynchian.
That's true. All right, hold on. I mean, I already revised once.
right.
No, we'll stay with what we're at.
No, I actually like it when there's less endings and more actual story. Even though it makes it harder to record as we go through it. But yeah, this has been one of my more favorite books.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I mean, it was really
more
funny. Don't get me wrong. Like,
enjoyable.
I
Right.
laughed a lot at the story.
Well, there you go.
So,
Maybe
fine,
we'll
I'll
have to-
revise.
Oh,
You guys
what's-
have browbeat me into raising my scale.
What are
We'll
we
go
at?
back to 8.
Back to 8.
Okay.
All right.
8 didgeridoos.
Maybe we'll have to come back to it later.
We
Like
might.
a boomerang.
Oh,
Yeah, it might come back. Boomerang on back to us.
Boomerang on back.
watch right
But we
into
never
that one.
know, so you're going to have to tune in and keep tuning in to Turn to Page Fun to find out if we ever return like a well-thrown boomerang to terror in Australia. Actually, they don't really return. That's a misnomer. They just arc.
All right.
Anyway, all right. Thank you again so much for listening to Turn to Page Fun. I'm your host, Nick Fearer, and with me tonight was Mr. Brian Bayer. Thank you, Brian.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun. I'm glad I got to wear my non-authentic Australian hat, but it's close enough.
Oh, it's about as authentic as that book was.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Thank you so much, Laura Halderman.
Thanks so much. We're going to wrap this up. I got to go feed Major Winks.
And thank you to our special guest, Mr. Jacob Wolfel. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. And again, I'm pretty sure I'm not a kidnapper. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Pretty
pretty
sure.
sure.
All right. You can find Jacob Wolfel in Milwaukee, not kidnapping people and not committing crimes.
In a white van with no windows.
Thanks again to Sexy Hackers for giving us this wonderful studio and this platform to do our crazy podcast. And thank you to Jason for running our engineering for tonight and also giving us the same thing that Sexy Hackers gives us because it's like they're the same entity. And thank you most importantly to you for being you, listening to us, read to you. I'll see you next time on Turn to Page Fun!
SexyHackers.com! Stream Team!